Garcia, and I created a short series focused on career basics for the Hispanic, Latino, or Latinx identifying professional, but also for all professionals who don't feel like they grew up with the same career know-how that many of our other colleagues did. I'm back with you with my next post that's featuring networking tips and tricks that can help you successfully navigate the working world. Today, I'm proud to be joined by my colleague, Ashley Register, who will help me highlight her experiences networking as a new professional in the working world today, both pre-COVID and post-COVID and during COVID, because it's all changing and it's all evolving always. And so Ashley, I'm gonna introduce a little bit about who she is and then we can go from there. Ashley is a recent graduate of the University of Northern Colorado with a passion for creating memorable experiences for people to enjoy. During her college tenure, she became a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, was a Division I track and field athlete, planned the UNC Spring Concert featuring Waka Flocka Flame, and held leadership positions in several student organizations. Because of her experiences as a college student, as a young professional, she now uses the skills that she gained in the working world. Ashley has continued to serve her community by participating in outreach programs and starting her own business to serve underrepresented communities in the greater Denver area. That's amazing. She hopes to continue utilizing the skills and talents that she has developed to reach the needs of people around her and inspire others to develop community and seek belonging. In her free time, Ashley enjoys participating in the musical arts. She sings beautifully, I'm gonna tell you that right now. She enjoys reading and spending quality time with her close friends and family. Ashley, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have her. So we'll just get right into it. Ashley, can you share what was your biggest fear going into your first networking event?
I think one of my biggest fears or lack of limitations that I put on myself was not seeing anyone who looks like me and having a cultural identity gap between myself, and the other people, and not being able to find any shared common interests because of that. And as a Black woman and being a part of an underrepresented group, there's all these limitations about what that means, and especially in the workplace. And so that was just something that was really challenging to navigate.
And so do you feel that this was in some ways kind of imposter syndrome, or did you feel like it was in other ways maybe connected to I won't understand these folks, or they might not understand me?
Yeah.
Did you lean into more professional conversations? Did you lean into your identity?
Mm-hmm.
How did you navigate that?
At first, I definitely leaned more into keeping it strictly professional. And imposter syndrome is such a real thing, and that's something that I struggled with throughout college. I remember when I was in high school and I started to become active in, civil rights and justice and activism. And I posted something on my Facebook page about some statistics against Black people and white people. And my dad was like, don't post stuff like that because you never know who's looking, and it could be your future employer who's seeing that. And then I just had that thought, but if they have that thought about me, then I don't want to work for them, or I don't want to have that person in my network. And so what I just came to realize is that not showing up as your full authentic self just does you a disservice in the long run, because you're putting yourself in a box, and it becomes mentally exhausting to stay in that box, and for other people to think that you have to stay in a box.
It's that code switch, right? You feel like you always have to kind of turn yourself on when you get to work and be that person. Instead of being yourself and that being okay. I was having a conversation just recently with a gentleman who I've been networking with, and he was telling me that he said, I wish I spoke Spanish, right? He's Latino of Latinx descent, and he was really saying that he wished he spoke Spanish, but he shared the story of his parents and his grandparents getting bullied, be in their school because they spoke a different language, and they didn't want that for their children or for their grandchildren, and so he was never taught. And he's like, it's such an asset now to speak more than one language. And I say that in many ways, right? To be able to communicate culturally competently, to be able to communicate with a specific audience or target audience. And so I guess in speaking to that piece, how did you decide to become more authentic and to really just kind of say, this is who I am,
Yeah.
and let's see how I find the job that fits right for me.
Mhm. I think there would be times in the past where I wouldn't talk about certain things or bring up certain subjects just because of the fear around like, and do I have like the place to speak on this right here and right now? And so that was challenging for me to navigate as well. And so whether it's culture, music, movies, TV shows, like I'll just bring it up now if it's coming up casually in conversation. Whether like the other person knows the movie, the song or not, I'm not gonna like dumb down like my knowledge of something that's not their knowledge because it's not quote unquote
I love it.
white knowledge or the mainstream narrative.
Yes, yes. That's so powerful. Our last question tonight is what is one technique that you've used to successfully navigate a networking event?
One technique that I always use is one, definitely being genuine in those connections and in those conversations, and whoever you're meeting. You don't do yourself any justice by not being your genuine self. And two, one thing that I always do that my dad told me that's really proven to go a very long way is to always do a follow up with whoever it is that I may have been interacting with in that moment. So I carry business cards with me, but whether or not they ask for my business card, like I don't really care because I'm gonna get your business card and I'm gonna get your email or your contact information, and I'm gonna make sure to send a follow up and make sure I say thank you and make sure that I add in a personal note about something that came up in our conversation because networking is not just for me, right? It's for whoever else may be coming up behind me, or I can connect you with this person, and it's just this big cycle that continues as more people get brought into it.
I love your point about personalization. A lot of the work that we do in our work is focused on like engaging people and bringing them, in more connection with the university that we work at. But I've really highlighted the idea of personalization, and that even when I'm sending like a congratulations packet, I will personally with marker like write congratulations, or on the back of my thank you notes, I'll write thank you on the envelope. And I think those little tiny pieces are pieces that like folks remember, and they're pieces that people are like, oh, they took that extra second. It shows you care, right? Like I think it shows a level of care that like just kind of moves the conversation forward authentically and with a positive vibe, which I think is another important piece about networking. Ashley, I just want to thank you so much for this authentic conversation, for bringing yourself here today. And if anyone wants to reach out to you, how can they connect?
On LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they find you as Ashley Register?
Ashley J. Register.
Ashley J. Register.
Yep.
Thank you so much for your time. Thanks everyone for viewing tonight, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye.
Bye.